Okay, in this video, you're going to learn how to multiply a polynomial by a monomial. So poly, meaning many, so many terms, and monomial, meaning one term. So we're going to multiply one term by many terms. And we kind of covered this a little bit in the adding and subtracting polynomials. But this time, we're going to stick a number in front of that bracket that's not 1 or negative 1. So check this out. So let's say I did 3 times 2 plus 5. Let's say I had that. It's like a Bedmas question, right? And I wanted to solve it. Cool. Well, I'd just follow Bedmas rules. Meaning I would do my brackets first. So I'd do 3 times 2 plus 5 is 7. And then I would do 3 times 7 is 21. Boom. But if I was unable to multiply, or if I was unable to add the numbers in the brackets, then there is another strategy I could take. So obviously in this case, I can add 5 plus 2. But there could be cases where you can't, like if that 2 is actually an x. So here's what you can do. We call it the distributive property, but we also can call it multiplying a monomial, this guy, by a polynomial, that guy. So, here we go. You can actually take this term outside the bracket, and since it's being multiplied by the whole bracket, you can actually multiply each term by that number, and then add the terms afterwards. So what that would look like is 3 times 2, I'll just write that, plus 3 times 5. So instead of adding the 2 and the 5 first, we're actually multiplying them by 3 first, separately, and then adding them. So 3 plus 2 is 6, and 3 plus 5 is 15, and 6 plus 15 is 21. So you can see we get the same answer, which is good. Okay, so we're going to extend this to be more algebraic, or in terms of x. So let's say we have a variable, because why would we do it that way if we don't have a variable? We wouldn't. But if we had a variable, like for example, we'll keep that 3 there. But now inside the brackets, we'll make it a 2x. Actually, you know what? Let's just make it an x plus 4. Sorry. Okay, so we don't know what x is, so we can't add x plus 4 because we don't know what x is, and they're not like terms. So instead, we use the distributive property. So we take that 3 and we multiply it by each term inside the brackets. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 4 is 12. So 3x plus 12. And then we can't go any farther. That's all we can do. So this would be multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. Also, sometimes we call it expanding brackets because we're getting rid of them. And we sometimes add the word simplifying if there's any like terms that we have to gather. Or occasionally we will call it the distributive property. I actually call it that a lot. The distributive property. Okay. All right, so let's just do a couple more examples to make sure you understand. And we'll change up our variable a little bit. So here we have 2 times 3x plus 1. Let's give that a shot. So we're just multiplying everything in the brackets by 2. So 2 times 3x would be 6x, and 2 times 1 would be 2. All right, let's try another one. Let's say we had 4 times negative 3x minus 7. So now I'm just going to multiply everything in the brackets by 4. 4 times negative 3x would be negative 12x. And 4 times negative 7 would be negative 28. So I have negative 12x minus 28. Okay, let's try a trickier one. Let's say my monomial was like at 5x. And then in the bracket I had 2x minus 10. In this case, now I gotta remember my exponent laws that we learned earlier this unit. So when I'm multiplying 5x by 2x, I know 5 times 2 is 10. And then when I'm multiplying x times x, I know each of these x's technically has an exponent of 1 on it. So if I add those exponents, I get x squared. And then the next... Okay, so sorry, my thing just cut out. Hopefully it's okay. Okay, so anyways, I was saying, then when we multiply 5x times negative 10, we get negative 50x. And that's our final answer because x squared and x are not like terms. Okay, and then let's just try another one. Let's just try a crazy one that we probably won't encounter, but we'll just do it anyways. So let's say we had 4x squared times 3x squared minus 2x plus 11. So we're multiplying a monomial by a polynomial still, so I guess that's fair game. But we just increased our exponents on our x's. So when we multiply the 4x by the 3x, so 4x squared times 3x squared, we will get 12x, and then we add the exponents on the x, so 4. And then the next one, so 4x squared times negative 2x, we get negative 8x to the power of 3. And then finally, we multiply 4x squared times 11, and we get positive 44x squared. And that's it, because none of those are like terms. So that's how to multiply a polynomial by a monomial.